Hello everybody. We're going to start today's stream off with a tier list of all of the characters in Cupid Parasite. I have gone through and I have played every single mainline route of Cupid Parasite, including the secret route. I will not be saying any real spoilers in this video, in this stream, but I will be giving my general overview opinions on the main routes. So, with that being said, we're going to start here with... I can't even remember her name. She's one of the gods. She's Cupid's mother. Venus? Yeah, Venus. We're going to start with Venus. Venus is underused, perhaps. She isn't used a huge amount, and when she is used, she's a little one note for me. A little one note. I mean, she's not offensive in any way, right? She's fine. So, I think C, right? Probably middle C, low C. I mean, to be fair, pretty much all of these characters are good. So, she's going to be very far down the list anyway, but I'm just going to give her a classy C. Now, Clarice. S tier? Or A tier? She is ever present throughout basically every route. That makes me want to put her quite high, because she is top tier. She is top tier, but also, she's like involved in the stories, but she's not involved, you know? I don't fully get her deal. I'm gonna go A. I'm gonna go A. It's the nice middle ground. She's there, but she isn't really relevant. She's not like the tipping point of anything. She's just kind of hanging out. But I like her. I'm going to put her A tier. Probably low A tier as the other characters roll in. Minerva. Minerva is quite involved in a lot of the plots. I think her character is very interesting when her character is sort of explored more. But it's one of those things where her character is explored, but in a way that doesn't necessarily paint her in the most positive of lights. And so I kind of want to put her in B. She did give Cupid the early push. Maybe high B. I'm not boosting her up to A. She is basically the only person in the story actually driving things forward. You're kind of right. You know what? Low A. Owen. I really like Owen. Honestly, I think he's like up here. He needs a pity high. That's kind of true. He kind of gets dumped on a lot of the time. He is just worked to the bone by Shelby, but he's good at his job. He suffers for his art of being a good assistant, and in the end, things work out for him. Okay, also he's cute. So I want to go A tier. I want to go middle of A tier. But I think in between Clarice and Minerva. I think that's fair. Peter. If you haven't played all of Cupid Parasite, you may think, why is this random clown here? Are we factoring in the amount of cushions sold per character? Yeah, Alan's going to S tier, baby. We sold a lot of Alan cushions. I like Peter. I like him. But he's not for me. I think Peter's B. He's a bit middle of the road for me. He's a good boy, but too all over the place, you know. This is the first easy D tier. Mars. He is, I guess, one of the more antagonistic characters. He is a mean guy. He is a mean guy who doesn't like humans and kind of gets in the way. Also, not a fan of sort of big, muscular dad bod sort of thing. So, on all fronts, D tier. Not a fan, D tier. Cupid. After playing Variable Barricade, I wish with my whole heart that Cupid had voice acting. She doesn't, which is a shame. However, I cannot help but love her. After the whole game, she was lovely throughout the entire thing. She always saw the best in people. She wanted to do the right thing. She worked hard. She's an S tier. Easy S tier. If you come out of that game and not liking Cupid, then I don't want to know who you are. I hope we get more voice protagonists moving forwards. But yeah, easy Ester. Oh Gil, oh Gil, oh Gil. Gil's a bit of a roller coaster. He's a bit of a roller coaster. Okay, let's give the timeline of Gil. First introduced to him, first seeing him, eye contact, looking at him. He's cute. He's like high A tier to S tier on first visual. And then you get to know him, and he's like, oh, he's really into Cupid. Oh no, he's like really into oh wait. Oh, he's like he won't let her do anything. Okay, no, he's kind of getting weird with it. He's kind of getting weird with it, and like he's trying way too hard. And then he develops a bit of a backbone, becomes more of himself, but never really gets over or anything. I'm going low beta. I think C is a bit tough, but I think that's just because I think he's really cute. Perhaps more than you do. Low beta. And speaking of this music, we have Shelby Snail. Okay, on first sight, I was like, this man's name is Shelby Snail. D tier. And then I played his route. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like him. He has quite some personality, and he's a hard worker, and he just kind of wants to help people, and I was like, yeah, I quite like him. Like B tier. And then towards the end of his route, when he becomes a cool guy, we're talking like S tier, low, top of A tier. That's honestly where we're talking. I think top of A tier. He doesn't have like the biggest peaks of his like narrative arc or anything. Like it's still a bit middle of the road narrative wise, but it's a good route. It's a good route, and I like him a lot. I think he's top of A tier. I was kind of dreading Raoul's route. I was kind of dreading it because I wasn't super keen on him to begin with, and I thought the mythology thing would get really grating. So I would have put him sort of like low C, I think. However, I don't know if anyone's played his route, but it gets crazy. His route gets kind of nuts. I don't know where I would really leave him. It's going to be definitely at least highest B. I ended up really liking him. A lot of personality stuff with him goes on. He learns a lot as a character. He doesn't go S tier. He has those grating qualities in between Owen and Minerva. I think I'm just a sucker for Owen at that point, but I honestly, I think that's where I put him, you know. Now we're getting on to two ones which I think might end up being a little controversial. Ryuki. Ryuki is my favorite of all of them. I am putting him in top of A tier. He deserves higher. I was being conservative because I thought people would shout at me for putting him in top of A tier. If we're saying higher, I can go higher. S tier. Ryuki is my favorite. That being said, he is very bad at the start. Perhaps one of the worst ones at the start. His the narrative in his route is interesting, and it's fun, and it's a fun route, especially if you like Ryuki. But from like a writing perspective, it's a very sudden switch. He goes from Parasite Ryuki to boyfriend Ryuki personality wise very quickly. And there isn't much of like a journey there. I wish there was more of a journey. However, he is my favorite. And so he is in S tier. This leaves Alan. It does need to be said that we did in fact sell a lot of Alan pillows. So he deserves some points for that. In other people's routes, Alan isn't that bad. Alan really just isn't that bad. It's in his own route where, and I'm okay with like being a little more spoilery with Alan's route because we played it on stream. He is the constant downfall of his and Cupid's mishaps. Every conflict is because Alan screwed up, what he wants, in a sense. And it gets tiring, and it gets a little grating, and it dragged out, and it took forever. But he kind of redeems himself at the end. I'm not going to put him any higher than B tier. I'm not. However, the story arc of his character comes back well enough. I think he has one of the most fleshed out, let's say, character arcs out of all of the main people. And that is my tier list. I will be posting this to Twitter. If you wish to argue with me, do it there. I will throw hands. I am no stranger to internet arguments. Is there anything I would change? He deserves to be D tier. She deserves to be C tier because she's very middle of the road. These three, yeah, they're the same tier. They just kind of are. They're kind of as bad as each other, a little middle of the roady, but still